So as I sit out here stretching in the sun, just meditating, like I've said before, things come to mind. And as I was just thinking, like, I'm out here by myself, and this is kind of my life where I live alone. A life outside normal engagement. I don't have a large circle of friends. I did when I was younger, and I think as we get older, and those things subside, it kind of brings more peace to our life. So I don't find alone being necessarily a bad thing when you have peace and you have tranquility and you have the things set in your life that you would want in the way that you want them. It's a much different process, but you can hear yourself think. You can be productive in different ways. And the one thing that I knew when I was dealing with my youth, and I was somewhat the center of attentions and things like that, wasn't always good because you're taking on other people's problems as well, and sometimes you're not fit to solve your own, much less somebody else's. Doesn't mean that you can't help, but sometimes we get involved and engaged and entangled in things that we aren't prepared to deal with, and on account of somebody else taking on their problems. It's kind of like I guess the analogy would be not having a whole lot of money yourself, but then co-signing for somebody else's debt. It's just not a good thing to take on. When as I've gotten older, though, I also find that making friends is a little different as well. I think as you're older, your demographic of people, they either have their family and friends, or they've kind of made that shift to be alone too. So that's a little bit different, and the things that you might have had in common aren't as superficial as when you were younger, say like drinking or things like that, where you see them at the nightclub or someplace, and it's just fun because you're out and about. Sports was a huge piece for me. That was my social circle, my team, the players that I'd see in the league, things like that. That was my social circle. So that was nice because you weren't alone, but you would see these people at practice and then games, and then you kind of could retreat back to yourself. Same thing with rugby. But as I've gotten away from sports, that's kind of gone away. As I transitioned out of the job that I was at for almost 8 years, those people at one point were my social circle. And so you kind of find yourself alone in different ways. I didn't mind it because we weren't hanging out, my coworkers and I, outside of work. So again, you're still kind of alone, and that is okay. A life outside normal engagement. You engage with people at work, and that's kind of normal. But now that I had just finished school, and that was my social circle for a while, my class. And then you go back to being, somewhat alone after you finish the coursework and things like that. And again, these aren't bad things. I don't mind the peace. I like the ability to recharge and rest. There's always something that's out there that we can kind of break down and understand, but we know what it means to rest. We know what it means when we set our phones on silent. We know what it means when we, pull back the shades and just want to watch a movie by ourselves or things like that alone. It's not a bad thing. It can be a very healthy thing. We just want to make sure that we're recognizing if alone sometimes can lead into other things. So for some people, it may have emotional, psychological, even spiritual, physical ramifications to it if you spend too much time alone. So you just got to know your levels and go out and seek things or seek people if you need to. I know with social media, for me, as much as I post and things like that, the people that I was always engaged with, that's kind of diminished as well. So again, our circles kind of shrink, and that's not a bad thing. But what I do know is I'm not at a place where I feel like, wow, something's wrong. I just know that in this context of being alone, there's a lot of peace to it. And when I have the ability or feel like it, I can get up, should I choose to, and go out and engage. And so a life outside normal engagement. Doesn't mean that we are completely void of it. It just means that, I'll catch up with the few friends or people that I know every so often, and they're probably doing the same thing as well. Life happens, and we have a lot of things going on, so we want to make sure that we just respect those places and be able to spend our time alone and then go out into the world if we want to. Some people don't want to, and that's okay as well. But alone is not a bad thing. I guess that's my message for today. And as I was just sitting here in this beautiful weather and enjoying the quiet, there's nothing going on around me. And for as long as I've been talking, my phone doesn't ring anymore. There's maybe like 2 people that call on any sort of regular basis. Shout out to Will and Lisa. And other than that, it's telemarketers or somebody else, but that's not bad. That's not a bad place to be. So I hope that you guys can contribute and ace up the sleeve, advice, comment, experience on your path when it comes to being alone. Some people absolutely don't like being alone. Other people love it so much to the point they've just shunned everybody else out and moved out to the middle of the woods. Alone can have a lot of different meanings for a lot of different people. So that's where I want to kind of get everybody else's thoughts, opinions, experiences. Again, ace up the sleeve. As always, subscriptions to the channel are free, so we'd love to have you. Share the content with a friend who might be alone and like to watch videos. And as always, I hope this finds everybody in your place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity, and as always, subscription, video. So stick around, and I'm going to enjoy this day.